Greetings, brothers. Gather close to the fire. Let the heat touch your armor, let the light reach your eyes, and let the forge songs steady your hearts. What I speak of tonight is not for the untempered, nor for those who fear the truth that lies hidden in the flame. These are the Promethean secrets, the words that are never written, the lessons that cannot be taught by voice alone. They are felt, known, and carried in the soul of every true son of Nocturne. You see, brother, the Promethean way is more than creed or craft. It is a current that runs beneath the flesh and through the spirit. It whispers in the roar of the furnace, in the crackle of the forge, in the silence between the hammer's fall. It is not a faith that demands prayer, nor a code that binds obedience. It is the discipline of creation, the will to shape, to refine, to make meaning from ruin. It is our inheritance from the Father of Fire himself. When I was a neophyte, still learning the ways of the forge, I thought the Promethean path was about the mastery of metal. How to bend it, how to harden it, how to give it strength. But I learned that the true metal being shaped was my soul. The hammers, the flame, the molten light, they were not tools for crafting weapons. They were instruments for crafting me. That is the first secret of the Promethean flame. All forging begins within. The heart must be purified before the metal can take its true form. A corrupted hand cannot create a pure weapon. Many brothers forget this truth. They focus on the fire's wrath, on destruction, on war, on the enemy that must be undone. But the Promethean secret teaches us that the fire's greatest strength is not to destroy, but to transform. When the world falls to ruin, we rebuild. When hope dies, we rekindle it. When death claims the strong, we forge their memory into the living. That is what Vulcan gave us. Not weapons of conquest, but the will to create even when the galaxy itself seeks only to consume. Long ago, the first Forge Masters spoke of the silent flame, the secret fire said to burn at the heart of Mount Deathfire itself. They claimed it was a fragment of Vulcan's own soul, left behind to guide us when all else failed. Many have sought it, but none have returned. The truth, I believe, is that the silent flame is not found in the world, but in ourselves. It is that part of us that endures beyond exhaustion, beyond pain, beyond despair. When all light dies, the silent flame still burns. That is the core of the Promethean soul. There are rituals we no longer speak of, except in whispers among the oldest of the chapter. Rites not of the body, but of the spirit. One such is called the Rite of the Deep Fire. It is not a ceremony of words, but of silence. A brother stands alone before the forge, the heat blistering his skin, the smoke filling his lungs. He stays there for hours, sometimes days, unmoving, unflinching. He stares into the flame until he sees himself within it. Only when he understands what he fears most and accepts it is he allowed to leave. Few endure it twice. What is found in that silence is not madness, but truth. The fire speaks to those who listen. It does not comfort. It clarifies. It burns away excuses, pride, and illusion, until only what is essential remains. I have seen brothers return from that rite change, their eyes calm, their wrath sharpened, their hands steady as if guided by something beyond flesh. They speak little after that, for they have heard the Forge's true voice, and it is not one that lends itself to words. The second Promethean secret is this: the fire remembers. Every forge, every flame, carries echoes of those who have stood before it. When you strike metal upon the anvil, the heat you feel is not just from coal or plasma. It is the gathered will of those who forged before you. Vulcan's touch still lingers in the embers, faint but eternal. We do not worship it as gods are worshipped. We honor it as smiths, honor the master whose hammer first taught them the rhythm of creation. There are forges deep beneath the chapter's sanctum, older than any living salamander. The walls are black with age, the air thick with soot, the ground littered with slag and remnants of forgotten works. Few are permitted to enter, for those forges are said to hum with the Father's own breath. I have walked there once, and I tell you this, brother, it is not the heat that overwhelms you, but the presence. It feels as though 1,000 unseen eyes are watching, and yet it is not judgment you feel, but understanding, as if the fire knows your heart better than you do. That is why we call it sacred. The third secret lies not in flame, but in flesh. The salamander's body itself is a forge. The melanochrome that darkens our skin. The organs that let us walk through flame unscathed. These are not mere gifts of the Emperor's genecraft. They are proof of the Father's will. He made us in reflection of his world, strong enough to endure the heat, yet compassionate enough to protect those who cannot. The black of our skin is not a mark of mutation, but of sanctification. It is the color of the anvil, enduring, unyielding, and true. Yet even we are not immune to the cost of the fire. For all that it gives, it takes. The longer one walks the Promethean path, the more it consumes. The forge burns not only metal, but memory. I have seen old masters forget their own names, their own victories, their own scars lost to the constant roar of the flame within their minds. They become vessels of the craft alone, living extensions of the forge itself. It is a terrible gift, and yet they accept it with serenity. For in the Promethean creed, to be consumed by purpose is the highest honor. There is a story told among the elders, a tale most think allegory, but I believe it carries truth. They speak of the first fire ever lit upon Nocturne, long before Vulcan's coming. It burned for 7 days and nights, unending, and from its heart rose a figure of light and ash, the spirit of the forge itself. It spoke to the people and said, I am both gift and burden. I will warm you, but I will also test you. Love me, and I will teach you to create. Fear me, and I will unmake you. When Vulcan arrived, he did not banish that fire he learned from it. And from that lesson, he forged the path we follow. The fire is not our servant, it is our equal. It gives and it demands in kind. That is why we temper ourselves, as we temper steel with patience, with humility, with care. To rush the forging of a blade is to invite its failure. To rush the forging of a soul is to invite ruin. The galaxy moves in haste. It destroys faster than it builds, consumes faster than it creates. We are the counter to that. We are the hands that rebuild, the hearts that endure. That is the truest Promethean secret. Creation is resistance. Every act of forging, every moment of mercy, every spark of compassion is defiance against the void. There are nights, when the forge burns low, that I hear the whisper of the flame like a voice in prayer. It does not speak in words, but in memory flashes of light, fragments of song, the echo of hammers long stilled. It tells me that all who serve the fire are bound together, across time, across death. Every strike of the hammer joins a chain that stretches back to Vulcan himself. We are links in that chain, each forged by the one before us, each shaping the one to come. The fire does not forget its lineage. The youngest among us sometimes ask, what lies beyond the fire? I tell them, nothing. and everything. The fire is the beginning and the end. It is the Alpha and the Omega of the Promethean soul. Before we are born, we are sparks waiting to ignite. When we die, we return to the forge that first shaped us. The cycle is eternal. To fear the fire is to fear our own becoming. You have seen brothers fall in battle, their armor shattered, their lifeblood spilled upon alien soil. But know this, brother, when they fall, they do not die alone. The fire that burned within them returns to the great forge, carried on unseen currents. It mingles with the flames of home, becoming part of the eternal light. That is why our pyres burn so fiercely, why the smoke rises straight into the night, because the fire knows its kin and calls it home. There is one final Promethean secret, the one we do not speak of, even among ourselves. It is said that within each salamander there lies a spark of the Father's own essence, a shard of his divine flame. Some say that when Vulcan vanished, he did not die nor sleep, but divided his spirit among his sons, so that through us, his fire would never fade. I have felt it, brother, that quiet, pulsing warmth deep within, the strength that comes not from the body, but from something beyond comprehension. It is not myth, it is inheritance. That is why we endure what others cannot. Why our compassion has not yet burned away in the cold of endless war. We are more than warriors. We are stewards of the flame. The Promethean secrets are not about power, but responsibility. To know them is to be burdened with them. To live by them is to be transformed by them. And so I say to you, brother, guard the flame well. Do not let the galaxy's darkness snuff it out. Forge in silence. Fight with purpose. And when the fire asks for sacrifice, give freely. For it is in the giving that we are made whole. When next you stand before the anvil, remember that every spark that leaps from your hammer is a memory of those who came before and a promise to those who will follow. That is the truth of the Promethean secrets. They are not hidden, they are living. They dwell in every heartbeat, every ember, every act of creation that defies despair. Hold fast to that truth, brother. For when all else fades, the fire endures, and through it, so do we. These are the words that are not recorded in any tome, nor etched upon any relic. They are carried only by those who have stood before the forge and survived its gaze. They are the benediction of the Promethean path, the vow that binds all sons of Vulcan, living and dead. The forge grows quiet now. The flames sink low, their light pulsing like a great heart. The air is thick with ash and memory. You can almost feel the weight of 1,000 voices in the heat echoes of every brother who ever lived and burned and was remade. This is where all things begin. This is where all things return. We are the fire, and the fire is us. That is the first truth of our creed. It is not the heat that defines us, nor the hammer, nor even the anvil. It is the will, the unyielding, relentless will to burn and not be consumed, to fall and rise again, to be broken and reforged without end. Every salamander carries this truth in his marrow. We are the continuation of the Father's labor, the living forge through which his dream endures. Do you understand what that means, brother? It means we cannot fail. We may fall, yes, and we will. But even in our fall, the spark survives. It leaps from one to another, from one age to the next, until it finds the hands that will carry it anew. That is the meaning of endurance. That is the true curse and gift of Vulcan. His legacy is not carved in stone, nor sealed in relics. It lives in us. When the void howls and the stars burn out, when the last fortress crumbles and the last forge cools, the fire will whisper still. It will call out our names, one by one, not in mourning, but in remembrance. It will speak of the deeds we forged, the mercy we gave, the courage we tempered. For the Promethean path is not about the wars we fought, but the lives we kindled along the way. So hear me now, brother. Take these words and carry them with you, wherever the galaxy sends you. Speak them not with your tongue, but with your actions. Let them ring in the rhythm of your hammer, in the steadiness of your aim, in the compassion you grant to those weaker than yourself. Repeat them in your soul when the darkness presses close. Through the fire we are made. Through the fire we endure. Through the fire we return. The forge does not forget its children. No matter how far we roam, the flame will always guide us home to Nocturne, to the forges of the chapter, to the Father who waits beyond the veil of smoke and time. And when that day comes, when the last ember fades, when our armor cools and our hammers rest, we will not be gone. We will be the sparks that rise from the pyre. We will be the warmth that touches a young brother's hands as he shapes his first blade. We will be the whisper that tells him, endure. That is immortality, brother. Not in name, not in relic, but in flame. So, let us close this sermon as the Forge Masters of old did, with the words that seal all oaths of the Fireborn. By hammer and heat, by will and by flame, we endure. By the Father's breath and the Forge's song, we are made. Fire remembers, fire redeems, fire endures. Now, return to your duty. The Forge waits. The galaxy hungers for light. Go, and make of yourself a weapon of creation. Burn brightly, but burn with purpose. We will speak again, brother, when the embers rise and the forge sings once more. Until then, endure.